If you've been paying any attention at all of late, then you'll realize that Hollywood is floundering right now. They're having a lot of problems, and today's news cycle is very representative of that. Between what Anthony Mackie said about the new Captain America that he's playing, and then David Goyer, the writer who's notorious for quite a few things, is delving into AI, and it seems to be making its way into Hollywood in a big way, and it might cause problems for a lot of creatives, or help depending on your perspective. And we've got more things brewing about Justin Baldoni, and James Gunn has comments on his very interesting Superman video that just came out. So let's go ahead and dig into it. Now, as always, before we kick things off, make sure to follow Criticalist Cast. Give us a subscription down below. Give the channel a sub. If you want to keep up to date on everything happening in the entertainment industry, as far as the news or just general happenings and all of the new films that are coming out lately or shows, we cover all that stuff. So make sure to give us that subscription, the likes, the comments. All of that helps us a bunch. And thank you to everybody who's been subbed so far, because we just hit monetization the other day, which is just really cool. We've been chugging along and things are moving really well. And so thanks everyone for tuning in for everything that we've done thus far. And make sure to visit criticalist.com. We're an entertainment reviewing platform for reviewing movies and television shows, but we are so much more than that, and we are an app which you can find in your Android or Apple app stores. But moving on in, I guess I should just cover the Anthony Mackie thing first, because everyone is talking about it. It's unavoidable, and that's not really what I wanted to make the star of the video today, because I think that the AI stuff is more pertinent and more important, but this thing is just unavoidable today. So essentially, what happened is that Anthony Mackie came out and he basically crapped on the character, which is definitely not what you do, especially in our current political climate. When over half the country, whether it be popular vote or electoral college, it across the board spoke in one direction, and that direction seems to be very opposite of what his statements made here. So what he said was, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term America should be one of those representations. It's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity. And I'm sorry, Anthony Mackie, but America is in the name of the character, and if you did not think that you could hold the weight of this character who has a lot of love from a lot of people, then you probably shouldn't have taken the role, and it probably should have gone to Bucky to begin with, which is what most people think. It was fine to go ahead and shelf Chris Evans for a while, and we did need a new Captain America potentially, but this version of Captain America just hadn't earned it. And this is not to diminish his role as the Falcon. I thought he did a great job. I think that he was a very good Falcon, but he just has shown that with the writing of this character, with these statements, just so many things around it, he's just not going to be able to be up to snuff. And this article kind of points out, which is this one's by Barstool, but basically this is the representation of all of the investors right now over at Disney, and just everyone involved with this film is definitely smacking their head right now, because these comments were moronic, because you can't take the America out of Captain America. I'm sorry, Anthony Mackie. And I understand that this statement was made to a group who was, from what I gather, in another country, and he was basically pandering to a audience that was not from America. But the thing is I'm sorry, but that's just what this character is, and you should have known that this was going to get out, and clearly these were thoughts that you held, and these are probably conversations that are happening behind the scenes over in the writers' rooms over at Disney that definitely tracks with how the most recent show was handled that he was in. So this is not really a surprise, and this is just going to be more damage to this movie that is probably going to absolutely flop. So there's that. I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of thoughts about this, and I honestly don't think a whole lot of people are probably defending it. There is a big anti-America crowd, but honestly, like, get out of here. America is what made this character. America is what helped to push along this character in the MCU, and it is what the foundation of this character stands on. It's in his name. I am sorry, you cannot escape it. So, if you do not want to be the character, if you do not like what the character actually represents, then go away, because we don't need you in this role. I'm sorry. And I've liked Anthony Mackie up until that recent Captain America show, but it seems like he has just bought the media narrative. He's bought this ideology that seems to be just rotting everyone's brains out. And I'm just not for it. And I would like to think that honor, dignity, and integrity are things that the American people stand for. Just because our government doesn't seem to stand for that does not mean that America does not stand for those things. So that's the thing, Anthony Mackie, is you're representing the people of America, not the government. I'm sorry. So you've missed the plot, and you have lost any chance that you had of success of this role with this kind of statement. Now, I understand that, there was more in this conversation, and this is a snippet, so I don't want to do the whole Elon Musk thing and start putting stuff on him that wasn't said. So I'm totally willing to take all this back. If there was a whole lot said before this that puts this into a totally different lighter context, I've been trying to look for the rest of the footage, but have not found it. But I would just say, on this alone, with the context that we do have, that is a big, bold statement to make for the character that you were playing, regardless of who you were pandering to. And it's a huge mistake. So maybe Disney will release the whole clip, and it'll dig him out of this hole. But I just don't see it happening. So on to the next little piece here, is that David Goyer, the writer of The Dark Knight, is basically getting involved in this huge AI powered platform, and it's really interesting. Now, where you sit on AI is definitely going to affect your opinions on all of this, and I have been fairly anti-AI in a lot of aspects for a while. I do see its uses, but I also see it as a danger to a lot of industries, to a lot of people's jobs, to especially entertainment as a whole, and I think that it is a worry, and depending on what level of reins are being put on it and control, we could be in for a bumpy road ahead, but there is no avoiding it, there is no escaping it, there's no getting away from it. The fact of the matter is that it is happening, and so the question is just how and in what way. So basically what's going on here is that David Goyer, like they say here, is responsible for the Foundation, the Dark Knight trilogy, Blade, and many more things. And basically he's getting involved with this new platform called Inscension, and it's claiming to connect fans to expand and create on intellectual property. Now, this is an article that you are not probably going to hear anyone else talk about, and I think this is a very big deal. And a lot of people are going to have opinions on it once it starts happening, and by then it's probably going to be too late. But basically what it says is that it allows studios and rights holders to open their IP to fans and other creators while leveraging AI to streamline licensing, revenue sharing, and community engagement. The platform is built on the blockchain so ideas can be tracked and creators compensated. Organizers are ambitious, hoping to introduce a new blueprint for building modern franchises through collaborative creation that can help avoid costly misfires on the big and small screens. With early input from a passionate base, AI will help users to sort through content. So basically what they're saying is that this is a platform that is going to allow people and creative-minded people to basically have access to owned and licensed IP, but these companies are going to know who's involved with it and know who's doing it, and then basically they are going to allow these people to create content, to create ideas and storylines and art and all sorts of things to basically help these studios to discover where they are headed with franchises. And in theory, actually, this isn't a terrible idea, because one of the biggest complaints is that that these studios don't listen to the fans. And this seems to be a concerted effort to target fans and let them say, hey, what kind of input do you have on our franchises? And also, if it's really good, we'll pay you for it. And that is really wild. But it could also get really hairy, because who's to say that these studios are actually gonna follow through with these ideas and give credit where credit is due to these people, and not take credit and just kind of twist and amalgamate different ideas and concepts and basically say, that didn't come from those things, this was our idea. Because we know that studios do things like that already. Granted, connecting it to blockchain, all this stuff, there will be like a paper trail. So all of this is really wild, and basically this AI is actually going to kind of just help you navigate this platform. And it basically, there's a lot more to this article. I will put it in the show notes. And they said that the beta is going to hit in about 6 months. So this thing is going to be out in the open. And basically David Goyer has this franchise called Emergence, where essentially the idea is that there is this black hole and all of these creations and things are coming out of it into the world. No one knows where they're coming from. And it is helping this planet or this world evolve and move forward. So it's very much connected to the idea of this actual platform that they're creating as well. This whole idea is really crazy, and I'm really curious to hear everyone's thoughts on it, especially if you guys want to dig a little bit more into this article. It is a little bit more in depth, and there was a video attached to it as well, which was really interesting, and it's on here. So I would say to check that out. I wasn't going to play it on the channel, but essentially this whole AI component of it is going to be very important to it. It says the platform also unveils Atlas, an AI agent designed to serve as a creative partner to help with common tasks like aggregating ideas, crafting narratives, and even generating full videos. Atlas, which is still in early stages, will be available to anonymously post on social media platforms, community manage, and gauge sentiment online to refine its creative process. So this is definitely doubling down into the AI aspect of things. I am really worried because I think that the heart of creativity lies within humanity and within people. And this is a very thin tightrope that we are walking on here with this, and there are going to be a lot of people with issues to it. So I am curious to see what people's thoughts are as this moves forward and progresses. But I can guarantee you that we will see more influences of things like this as time goes on. But at least the fact that someone like David Goyer is attached to it, an actual creative and a very smart individual, maybe, just maybe, that's a good thing. So let me hear your thoughts down below in the comments. But I did really quickly want to mention there's more happening with the Justin Baldoni stuff and Blake Lively. I do not have time to explain all this here, but I just wanted to mention that I saw multiple articles commenting on this I fucked up Justin Baldoni tells Blake Lively thing. It was on all the entertainment pages, and when you read it and look into it, it's nothing. It's a nothing burger. And honestly, this feels more like more of Blake Lively and her team doing damage control because the Baldoni team has been absolutely crushing them. And basically what it says is that this is from like a text, but they're claiming that he admitted that he did that. And it says like, I will admit and apologize when I fail. And honestly, when you dig into this, it sounds like the guy's actually still continuing to be fairly decent, but they were trying to weaponize this article against him, hoping that no one would even read it. And it just follows along with what a lot of the mainstream media does. And so I saw this on all the entertainment sites, but they were all in favor of Blake, which I found very interesting. And from what we've heard, and with the money behind her and her husband, that totally makes sense. So I just found this to be very interesting, and it's just the drama continues, and they have set a March 2026 hearing, I guess. So we're still a ways out, but they are planning on getting this thing on the books. But I'm wondering at what point this will go dark and we'll quit hearing things about it for a while until the court dates start happening. And the last little bit here was that James Gunn has commented on Superman here, and everyone's been making fun of this photo and basically saying that it looks like he has Google AIs and all this stuff. I honestly didn't hate it. I didn't think it was that bad. Everybody kind of hates everything these days and makes fun of everything. And I'm myself still excited for this movie, and I have hopes for it. And I really do hope that it is a good film. But basically, James Gunn said that there was no CGI with this, and fans were trying to say that it was, and that's why he looks so goofy and this and that. But basically, all it is, and James Gunn even pointed it out, is it's a fisheye lens, and it tends to make people look a little wacky. And that was probably a mistake to film this with a fisheye lens. That's all it was, and it is what it is. And maybe they can fix it a little bit, or like take out some of the distortion from the fisheye. But whatever. I don't hate it. I don't really care. Everyone's making fun of it and still just turning on this movie and doing things like this, which is admittedly very funny. But I don't hate it. It's whatever. So that's the deal. That's what's going on today. I want to hear everybody's thoughts on the AI takeover of the entertainment industry, on Anthony Mackie, on the Googly eyes, all of it. And I will be back again with more news soon. Everybody take it easy, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Later.